Welcome to the Terminology Leading Practices stream at the SNOMED CT Expo 2025. Thank you to TermMed for sponsoring this stream. My name is Maria Braithwaite and I'm a Senior Terminologist at SNOMED International. I'll be your moderator for today's session. We'll address all questions at the end of the presentation. For our online audience, please use the Q&A button to submit any questions for the presenter. For those of you attending in person, feel free to use a microphone provided in the room when the time comes. It is now my pleasure to introduce Hannah Kang from KR Healthcare, who will be presenting Standardizing Clinical Terms Across Institutions, Mapping Principles and Quality Enhancements. Hannah, over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah Kang, and I'm from KR Healthcare in Korea. It's a great honor to be here today to share our experience. The title of my presentation is Standardizing Clinical Terms Across Institutions, Mapping Principles and Quality Enhancements. Today's session is a combined one covering two key areas. First, overall mapping processes, and second, the validation and quality assurance framework we've developed to support consistent terminology mapping. Let me start with the first part. Our approach to mapping clinical terms to standard terminology for a multi-institutional research platform. The main focus of our work is to create a mapping system that ensures both accuracy and consistency across institutions. To achieve this, we adopted a hybrid approach, combining automated and manual mapping methods. We established strict mapping principles and maintained one-to-one mappings so that the standardized data can be directly used in large-scale multi-institutional research. At KR Healthcare, our mission in data standardization is simple but powerful: to make real-world clinical data truly meaningful and to enable reliable multi-center research. As of now, 17 hospitals have joined our research alliance, and our team is responsible for standardizing the clinical terms used across these partner institutions. Our overall process can be divided into three major steps. First, standardizing clinical terms, where we define the mapping scope and select the target standard vocabularies. In most of domains, we use SNOMED as the primary reference terminology, and we apply both automatic and manual mapping techniques. Second, evaluating the mappings through cross-validation and expert consultation to verify their quality and accuracy. And third, deploying the final mappings by uploading the validated mapping tables to our multi-institutional research platform so that researchers can immediately use them for analysis and study. Now, let me explain our hybrid mapping process in a bit more detail. This approach combines the strengths of automation and human expertise to ensure semantic consistency and alignment with global standards. We first pre-process the local source terms and handle as many as possible through the automatic mapping tool. For the remaining unmatched terms, manual mapping is performed by trained mappers. Currently, automatic mapping is implemented for SNOMED, and when necessary, we even author new SNOMED concepts. After thorough validation, we finalize the mapping table. The automatic mapping process uses embedding models of SNOMED descriptions. We calculate vector similarities between SNOMED concepts and descriptions and pre-process the local terms. If the similarity is very high or a full match is detected, the mapping is made automatically. When several close matches exist, The system presents candidate concepts linked by similarity, allowing mappers to efficiently select the most appropriate target concept. All completed mappings are then fed back into the system to continuously improve future mapping performance. Kakao Healthcare has been officially assigned a namespace identifier, and we manage our own SNOMED City extension to handle concepts not yet available in the international edition. We've also developed authoring features that apply MRCM rules, supporting classification and enable automated validation for new concepts. This allows our terminology to stay both accurate and interoperable with SNOMED City. Now, I'd like to briefly introduce our mapping tool through a short demo video.
Data standardization maximizes the value of medical data. Kakao Healthcare enables reliable multi-center research with real-world data. Standardization enables interoperability. Medical data is gathered and standardized, then structured via UDM. Our clinical experts and advanced technology enable accurate, precise mapping. We create new SNOMED CD concepts and manage the KHC edition. Clinical terminology experts validate mapping results for accuracy and consistency. Automated mapping uses OpenAI embeddings and improves continuously based on results. Chipmunk uses AI to translate terms. It's user-friendly, validates new terms, and prevents duplication for data quality. Users can select the best matched concept proposed by auto mapping, or choose to map to a different concept. For SNOMED CT, users can create detailed new concepts and instantly review them in the browser. Over 1.19 million terms standardized, with 27,000 new concepts. Terminology has been unified at 17 institutions, and continuous updates allow HRS to drive robust, multi-center research. With Kakao Healthcare, terminology standardization becomes a breakthrough for innovation.
During mapping, we strictly control the semantic tags allowed for each domain. This ensures that candidate concepts are semantically appropriate and prevents errors caused by mismatched meanings. For newly authored detailed clinical concepts, we defined domain-specific post-coordination rules so that all mappers follow the same logic when combining attributes. This greatly improves consistency and reliability across mappings. To further ensure quality, we perform cross-validation and expert review. Our terminology review committee includes both internal and external members, clinicians from diverse specialties such as internal medicine, surgery, psychiatry, and pediatrics, as well as terminology experts and data curators. The committee meets quarterly for in-person discussions and also conducts written reviews as needed. Their review includes evaluating new and revised terminology, validating mapping accuracy and consistency, reviewing concept modeling and hierarchy, discussing ambiguous or conflicting terms, and approving final terminology updates. After these validation steps, the results are integrated into our mapping table. As you can see here, the left column represents the local diagnosis codes, the middle column lists the mapped SNOMED city concepts, and the right column shows the corresponding Korean ICD codes. In our research system, we also built a search interface similar to SNOMED City's ECL query, allowing users to search for concepts by attributes and values. This feature makes it much easier for researchers to retrieve the precise concepts they need for their studies. Now, let's move to the second part of today's presentation. our synthetic and semantic validation framework for ensuring consistent and accurate mappings. The goal of this framework is enhanced mapping accuracy and consistency across institutions. Through our experience, we identified several key challenges: human errors during manual mapping, and concurrent conflict where identical local terms were mapped to different SNOMED city concepts, and general issues like duplicate terms and inconsistent mappings across hospitals. To address these challenges, we developed a systematic validation process that leverages the internal structure of SNOMED city to maintain alignment and interoperability. Our solution integrates both synthetic and semantic validation into a single automated framework. This framework performs two levels of verification, one within institution and another across all participating institutions. This two-tier approach helps us identify and correct inconsistencies that might not be visible from a single data set alone. We also align our validation process with key data quality dimensions, namely validity, uniqueness, completeness, consistency, timeliness, and accuracy. Validity is data, what data conforms to formats, standards, and rules. Uniqueness, identifiers are free from duplication and conflict. Completeness, all required terms are mapped. Consistency, data is coherent and non-conflicting across sets. Timeliness, data reflects latest standard and local updates. Accuracy, mapping reflects true or gold standard values. These 6 principles serve as our foundation for evaluating the overall reliability of mappings. Our central principle is straightforward. If two local terms are textually or semantically identical, they should always map to the same SNOMED city concept. For synthetic validation, we check whether identical local term strings are consistently mapped to the same concept and whether any local terms that perfectly match SNOMED city descriptions are incorrectly mapped elsewhere. For semantic validation, we use semantic tags to verify that the meaning of each mapping is aligned with SNOMED city. Any mappings that fall outside our predefined semantic rules are automatically flagged and then manually reviewed. Our synthetic validation results are also manually double-checked to ensure consistent interpretation of meaning. SNOMED city's semantic tags plays an essential role in this process. We restricted allowable tags for each domain, and our mapping tool automatically flagged out-of-range mappings for human review. This rule-based validation ensures semantic equivalence and significantly improved consistency and accuracy across institutions. In addition, we leveraged SNOMED city synonyms. Even when different hospitals use different local expressions, if they share the same SNOMED synonym, the system automatically recognizes them as the same concept. This helped us achieve much greater inter-institutional consistency. To summarize, our mapping and validation framework ensures that local clinical terms across multiple hospitals are aligned accurately and semantically with global standards. It not only enhances data quality, but also enables large-scale standardized research collaboration. This concludes my presentation. In other sessions of this expo, you will hear more in-depth discussions on Kakao Healthcare's automated mapping tool and data quality management framework. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Hannah. We will now begin questions. As a reminder, if you're in the room, please use the microphone to ask your question so that everyone can hear you clearly. Do you have any questions in the room? Okay. There is a question here, Hannah, for you. How does the hybrid mapping approach balance automation and expert review to ensure accuracy?
In the auto mapping tool, we have review process and functions for experts so that they can review it systematically, and that confirms the auto mapping.
Thank you. And then there's a follow-up question here. What training is provided to terminology specialists to effectively manage and update SNOMED CT mappings?
Of course, the SNOMED City International education, but also we have many discussions and documentations for mappers so that we can align mapping principles and processes and everything for consistency.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any further questions in the room?
Hi, thank you for the great presentation. On one of your slides, you noted that you used the semantic tag to restrict what concepts the mapper was seeing. For the condition or disorder category, you had the situation semantic tag.
Yes.
Have you run into issues with that hierarchy using the semantic tag because it also contains procedure with explicit context, family history, history of? Has that led to any overloaded or incorrect things being presented to the mapper?
Yes, we actually didn't want to include that semantic tag, but as you know, in the hospital codes, they have many not clean terms in there, and we just had to include the situation semantic tag. For example, like we have many terms related to accidents and things like that in our Korean ICD code and things like that. So we had to.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you. That concludes this session. To our online delegates, you're welcome to remain here for the next presentation in this stream, or you may navigate to another session via the event lobby. Thank you, Hannah. That was a excellent presentation. Thank you.